Hello, today I am going to discuss the impact of time of the day tariff on Discoms revenue. As we all know, Right of Consumer Rules 2023 has prescribed introduction of ToD tariff for consumers and industrial consumers having more than 10 kilowatt with effect from 1st April 2024, and for other consumer except agriculture it has been made effective with effect from 1st April 25. The rules also prescribe that the commercial and industrial consumers shall be charged at least 20% more during the non-solar peak hours, and the other consumers shall be charged at least 10% more than the normal tariff, whereas during the solar hours the tariff shall be at least 20% less for all consumer categories. So we have to see how it can be implemented, especially when the smart meter rollout is very dismal and smart meters are essential. So that's why you'll find that most of the SERCs, they have not implemented the ToD tariff which has been prescribed under the rule, because for that we need to have 100% coverage of that particular consumer category. Albeit some earlier industrial ToD tariff are continuing in few states. Nonetheless, an analysis has been made to see the impact of the ToD if implemented by assuming electricity consumption by various consumer category in a 3 prescribed time slots, that is solar hour, non-solar hours and normal hours. An analysis has been done for 3 Discoms of Maharashtra, namely Tata Power, Adani and MSEDCL, based on their 24-25 ARR. Let's come to the ARR data which has been taken from Maharashtra ERC. The data is for the projected sales and the projected revenue, and from these two data we have computed the average tariff, which is for that consumer category, which is sales divided by the revenue divided by sales. And similarly, the share in energy consumption of that particular consumer category is also computed. From these data we have created an Excel workbook for each Discom. For example, the first Discom which we have taken is Tata Power. They have got their domestic, commercial, industrial and other consumers. The sale for 24-25 in million units is before us, and the estimated revenue from these consumer categories is also with us. And from this we know the average tariff and the share in the total consumption. Now, taking the ToD factors from the right of consumer rules prescribed by Ministry, the daytime discount in tariff for domestic is proposed to be 20%, and for peak surcharge for domestic is 10%. Daytime discount for CNI is 20%, and peak surcharge is also 20%. And based on this, we have computed the revised ToD tariff of each consumer category. So during solar hours, we will find that the consumer category wise tariff has come down from the average tariff. 7.71 has become 6.17, and likewise. But for non-solar hours it has gone up by that percent, and the normal hours has remained same. Now we have assigned certain probability of consumption, assuming, say, for domestic we presume that during the solar hour the consumption will be varying between 28% to 36%. The distribution, normal distribution, we have taken the triangular distribution function, and linearly it is assumed to vary between 28 to 36%, and the same share has been assigned for non-solar peak hours, and the balance is for the remaining hours. Similarly, for commercial, we have assumed the consumption during the solar hours between 45 to 55% and 30 to 40% for non-solar hours, because most of the commercial establishments, they work during the day and maybe some hours of the late evening. Hotels, restaurants, they go up to midnight, but shops and establishments, they close earlier. And for industrial also we have assigned, likewise we have done. Now this is for a particular computation. We have computed the revised revenue, assuming that the energy consumption remains same. However, the consumption pattern changes from non-solar hours to solar hours. So let's see how the impact is going to be. And this is for Tata Power. Similarly, we have done for Adani. The same exercise has been done for Adani. Same consumption estimate has been made, and also for MSEDCL. And we are going to run about, say, 10,000 iterations, assigning Monte Carlo simulation, and see the impact. Okay, let's see the simulation results. Okay, the all simulations with various consumption estimates have been computed, more than 10,000, and from that what we get is Tata Powers, their revenue is going to go down between minus 1.93% to 3.91%. And the 95% probability is that there will be reduction of revenue to the extent of 2.41%. Similarly, for Adani also, the estimation is that they will have a reduction in their revenue to the extent of 2.39%. And MSEDCL is going to make a loss in revenue to the extent of 1.89%. This is 95% probability, and all the data are there. So what does this tells us? This tells us that while time of the day metering should have some impact on the revenue, as we are basically trying to reduce the peak consumption. But what is happening is that the peak in India is happening during the solar hours, and the solar hour discounts have been proposed, and that too also to the extent of 20% by the rules. Now this is a proposition which is not based on any scientific or any economic consideration. We all know that solar is available during the daytime, but during the non-solar hours we have to rely on primarily the fossil fuel and other things. But the domestic consumers, their demand is very inelastic, in a sense that during the daytime they are working either in the fields or in the offices, and in the evening when come back they use that light and fan or air conditioning or cooling, whatever it is, during the evening hours. And if you increase the tariff during the evening hours, it is very unlikely that they will stop using it, and it will basically cause them some sort of inconvenience. So, long and short of it is that prescribing rates through rules may not be a very good way of implementing the ToD. It should be left to the respective SERCs to work out what discounts or surcharge should be levied, number one. Because in any case, this shortfall has to be compensated during the true up of the tariff, and again for the corresponding consumer category, you have to increase or decrease the tariff in the next year. So this is my finding of this analysis, and I hope it is useful. If you have any comments and question, you can address it to me.